It's 2 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to Cannabis Legalization News, where we explain marijuana laws so you can change them. Today and this week is going to be huge for weed. Hey, Tom, how you doing? 3 new states coming online this week.
3 new states. I know. And Miggy's going to be joining us soon. He was a little late because he's got some traffic or something in Seattle. I'm going to blame the record heat on the West Coast, which has kind of moved out of there. But yeah, today and then tomorrow, if you're in Virginia, you're breathing easier. What's the other state? It's New Mexico, I believe, yesterday. And then tomorrow is Virginia. And whom else?
Connecticut, I believe.
And Connecticut. Wow, that's great, because Virginia's got about 7 to 8 million people. No, actually, I think it's got closer to 9. And then Connecticut's got 3 million, and so does New Mexico. So there's another 15 million people that are waking up to a better world. It's pretty cool. Hopefully Miggy gets back. He's been popping in and then popping out. So if you came in here to see Miggy, smash some likes and then tell him that you miss him, because he'll be in, but he's having some technical difficulties. Let's talk about New Mexico a little bit. New Mexico marijuana legalization law officially takes effect on, June 29th? There it is. Yeah, it took effect on Tuesday, June 29th. Limited personal possession and cultivation officially becoming legal for adults 21 of the years of age and older. New Mexico is the first of 3 states where adult use legalization are going to be taking effect this week. Next is Virginia and Connecticut, both going into effect on Thursday, July 1st. If you're joining us from Virginia or Connecticut, don't forget to tune in tomorrow. We are going to have a webinar. We've been dropping those webinar links through our Bitly. Lauren, can you throw the Bitly link on there? There it is. It'll lead to that, how to start a cannabis delivery service. Hopefully we'll see you there tomorrow. David Levitt out of our Boston office will be presenting on it. Back to the New Mexico law. In January of 2022, the division must issue licenses to qualified commercial cannabis companies and begin to license marijuana training and education programs. Retail sales are set to begin by April 1st, 2022. Hopefully nobody gets derailed under this. We're still waiting for some regulations to come through. Those regulations are due by September 1st. New Mexico appears to be one of the dual licensed unlimited type states, as popular on the West Coast and also in Michigan and Colorado. So that's fantastic for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs in New Mexico should be able to open for business, which is fantastic. I mean, sitting here in Illinois and then watching what they're going to start doing in New Jersey, it makes me really question why they have these limited markets, especially when you consider full legalization is coming, and that limited market is going to have a dormant commerce clause attack on it. It's not going to be able to survive. So I just don't even understand why states are doing that. Cannabis purchases will include a 12% excise tax on top of the state's regular 8% sales tax. And beginning in 2025, the excise rate would climb by 1% each year until a maximum of 18% by 2030. Medical marijuana products available only to patients and caretakers are exempt from the tax, which is fantastic. Safe access for patients. I also wanted to see where we're coming in at. Oh, Miggy looks like he's starting to get ready to go. We got a tweet, huh?
Yo.
Oh, Miggy is the tweet. What's up, Miggy? Okay? Happy Monday. So, what's been going on? Have you just been trying to, why don't you bring us up to speed on the trials and tribulations that Miggy has been facing on Wednesday?
Oh, dude, it's just been the family life, that's why I'm all late. And I couldn't find Wi-Fi, so it's a bit,
I hate when you can't find Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's all good, though, man. But how about, did you already talk about how we are able to smoke in the new states, though? I mean, this is...
We were talking about, the 3 new states. Which ones are you most stoked of over from the ones that we actually have,
Oh, New Mexico, dude. I would love to go to New Mexico and smoke some chilies.
New Mexico to smoke chilies, as he calls it.
They have a famous chili relleno there. Some sort of chili, like, I'm a foodie, man. You know it is. Like,
I see. So there's no actual, like, cannabis flavor.
No, but there should be. There will be.
Should be.
I bet you.
No, yeah. I'm pretty sure that there will be some type of chilies that are out there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if Lauren, because you know what it is? It's the end of the month. And because it's the end of the month, we should really go and run the numbers. For how much we're going to be given to Freedom Grow this year. So why don't we bring up the YouTube studio? Everybody decided to take the month off. And so like summer hits, everybody goes on vacation. Viewers and revenue is down a little bit. So it looked like we did $235.70 in revenue.
Nice.
Last month. And so that means we'll be, we're Where's our dashboard? I guess it's not running really quick. Go back to the dashboard so we can just see the chart over how much cash we made. It was just $230.70. The vast majority on that is from your membership. So thank you so much for joining and being a member, because we really, even though we talk about policy change, methodology of policy change, like, what you're supposed to be going for in this industry, it's still illegal, so it gets flagged, and we aren't allowed to really have ads like if we were just talking about Pantene.
Well, the whole industry, I mean, anybody from the people who actually make money and touch the plant to, like, even you as the lawyer, I'm just
Tier 2 MRBs.
Yeah, I'm just a sidebar guy though, right? Like, I'm the anomaly of, like, the average citizen that actually stood up and be like, hey, why can't we just do this? You know what I mean? Like, in the algorithm. Huh?
Why can't we just do this? I don't understand it. Why are they making it so difficult?
Well, I think we've talked about this. Both parties seem to have their own different, like, views on it and still don't follow through with the whole process, right? It's a lot of dog and pony, or like the shell game, where it's like, here's legalization, but here's a bunch of other bullshit that we're gonna fucking distract you with,
Right.
Shit.
Right.
Hey, and right on.
Maybe you look like you're from Virginia. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's the Civil War beard coming in. It's
the Civil War beard. When does it become a Civil War beard, Miggy?
I think the longer and more,
more scruffy.
Like, there you go. Man. All right. Almost homeless.
Almost homeless. All right. Hey. Well, I appreciate that you came by, man. There's pretty good news. This week was crazy with Clarence Thomas on Monday, saying that we don't even need a federal cannabis law anymore. We're not going to enforce it. Wouldn't that be great if we could have medical marijuana, or like marijuana, the Raich case revisited, and the Raich case 2 just declares it unconstitutional and is just totally descheduled that way? That would be chaos, but good chaos. The industry would immediately be 20 to 30% more profitable. And then not only that, you'd get like all these dormant commerce clause challenges and then interstate commerce going, because if one state thinks it's going to be able to have a monopoly like Illinois with that crap they're doing, the longer they wait before they give out the licenses, the less those licenses are worth, because those companies won't be ready to compete with Oregon. Well,
like you were saying, though, federally, once it happens, the MSOs who have been setting themselves up in their little fiefdoms are going to lose, I think, and I think that's just what it comes down to, is when you say chaos, it's not chaos for the average citizen. It's chaos for people who are pulling in more than 6 figures, or even, like, just the invested ones, the millionaires and whatnot. Like, that's who chaos is for, and fuck those guys.
Yeah, something else. I tell you, very much something else. And it's been a beautiful day over in Illinois. No, it hasn't. It's just been raining and raining and raining. And now Forbes is reporting on the new Reefer madness. Poison Control Centers sound alarm over legal marijuana compound Delta-8 THC.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, and I'm assuming that Miggy is in his car, so he cannot see the script that Lauren's so kind to prepare for us to keep on point. So I'll just kind of be, you'll be the color man. I'll be the news reporter, and we'll take this as it comes. So anyway, man, last week, the University of Virginia Health System's Blue Ridge Poison Center issued a trouble warning. Over the past 6 months, dozens of people, including at least one toddler, had been hospitalized or sought medical attention after consuming products containing or purportedly containing Delta-8 THC.
A toddler? Like, how the fuck do you like how a toddler?
Well, a lot of these gummies that are hemp gummies aren't put into child-proof packaging. Some of them are, but some of them are not. And then very often they are made to look like candy, and they actually are candy. I mean, they're just basically like jelly beans, essentially. And so there you go. It's just that the Delta-8, the less that it's regulated, the more that it's easy to get. And then, derelicts leave it out for their kids to eat.
But again, what happened? Like let me, let's follow through. What happened to that kid? Did he just like turn on some Pink Floyd and just call it good? And then because the Delta-8 doesn't last very long. That experience, that feeling. So by the time they got to the hospital,
it's the same biological methodology as if you eat THC. So it becomes the same type of, but then in a Delta-8 variant. So that same isomer or whatever it is, and it hits your liver. So that the edibles can still last kind of long. They're just not quite as strong. The real issue is is what was sold purported to be what it is. And so because it's unregulated, you're not really sure if it was Delta 8 THC or if it's something else. Like very often they'll lace it with melatonin or other crap and it's made in China.
Well, I got something for you here in Washington State, and I have to dig more into it, but we have our own Delta 8 controversy where the 502, which is the recreational market out here, are afraid of processors using hemp Delta 8 and adding it to their regular cannabis 502 flower. Like they feel it's an unfair advantage. But maybe it is. It's all the same plant. But I personally believe like the plant is a plant no matter what. It's all about where it came from, right? And if the only unfortunate thing is you get hemp from South Africa, China. We don't know how these farmers are. The regulation, who to sue if they're using wrong pesticides and shit like that. So, Buy American should be definitely.
Well, no, that's where you're going to see some of the regulation when it comes to the hemp processors. What can you actually put, and then that what you state is in it is actually in it. But that plagues even the testing industry and THC, because you'll see like flour that purportedly tests to like 42% THC, and it's not. They need to check their instruments that they're using to test it, because I'm assuming that they did something to overclock it. And I'm not saying like they're just dumping keef on it. They might be screwing with the sample size of the weight. So then if they say that the sample weight is X, that can push the THC by quite a bit.
And that happened out here in Washington. One of the labs got caught doing that exact thing, changing the numbers.
Right. Yeah. However, Delta 8 is legal under both federal and Virginia law, provided that it is a downstream hemp derivative. So these hemp derivatives are out there. There's new ones coming: THCO, THCP, Delta 10, and then beyond. Who knows? Because it's all cannabinoids, all isomers, all extracts.
Do you think Reefer Madness is afraid of the crackdown on deltas right now and all the other CBD shit and everything? Do you think, because we know like it's hemp derivative, so it's going to be not as fun, but yet it'll still be beneficial to your body? Do you think like these Reefer Madness fuckers think like, okay, well, the more people get familiar with the plant and realize that these little components are actually the good part, and then we only call it this one bad thing, THC Delta 9, like that, and even then. But the thing is, the word psychosomatic is kind of scary, that word. So I don't think people know how to react and take that in, or even how to divert that conversation.
You know it, man. And that's really a lot of the problems with it. We aren't talking about the substance. We're talking about people's prejudice towards the substance. And we always try to talk about the substance in and of itself and make sure that the distinction's there. And I want people to have safe access, and I want people to be able to believe the labels. And so I like that we have, lab testing and lab regulations. Now, what should be tested? I think that your Delta 8, your downstream hemp extracts and derivatives, those should be tested. And if I was a state legislature that was trying to be hemp friendly or industry friendly, I would make a standard that you require your producers to do, and then you can slap that on the box, like the organic symbol that they did all those years ago. And so they led on like what it meant to be organic. And I think it'd be great if a very hemp friendly state would lead on what it means to be, Delta 9 THC compliant, but also like what they say is in their product is actually what's in their product.
Well, yeah, that's a safe access, safe, like just the consumer side of things also, right? And then, but the thing about regulation, we talk about regulation, as I always say, lab regulation is the plant regulation. So like when it comes to lab regulation here in Washington, we still, medical and recreational are tested differently. And that's the thing that just gets my, like my back hair is all curled up, a little looks like all tensed up. Like, why the fuck do we treat these two different things when it's the same thing, right? And the conversation about medicinal versus recreational, but it's still a consumable plant. It's still a consumable, and it should be checked the same way for both pesticides and metals and all the negative stuff. The stuff when we talk about like the CBDs and the CBNs, the CBGs and the terpenes,
the lesser cannabinoids.
Yeah, well, that's also just the extra flavor shit, right? Like we want to know all the bad shit in there first, and then, or make sure there's no bad shit in there. And then you can get into the personalized. Like I like mine with like a heavy lysine or whatever,
Right on. Hey, you know what we should do?
Oh.
It's 20 past the hour.
Yes, sir. 22. Yeah, I was able to join.
Ah, good. When Mickey doesn't have to be at the day job, it's all fun and games. I want to give a shout out to 420 365. It's the number 4. No, the word 4, the number 20, the word 3, 65, the number.com. I got an unboxing I got to do, but I forgot to bring a lamp to my new place. And so I was downlit. I looked like Lurch. So I'm not going to do that one. But anyway, man, we got another 420 promo. Weed to go. Cannabis delivery companies get up and running. So
nice.
Yeah. GHB is reporting that. Wait,
is this the one
GHB?
in
GBH?
Massachusetts?
Let's see here. Yes, it is. On Monday, 28 workers start training for a new kind of job in Massachusetts, cannabis delivery drivers for your green package. The company, co-founded by Chris Fevry and Lordry Pio, is one of the first in the Commonwealth to receive the marijuana courier license. The couple hope to open up a social consumption space in Massachusetts after visiting cannabis cafes in California. But then you know what happened, man? COVID-19.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We had so much momentum, but I think COVID did help the plant in the sense that it's essential.
It's essential. The sales were up. I think COVID-19 really just cemented it because, like, when there's tragedies, people will drink in good times, and when times are bad, they might drink a little more. And so it turns out that cannabis, which is a substitute good for alcohol, abides by that same philosophy. And so, like, when times are good, people are going to smoke weed, and when times are stressful and hard, they might smoke a little more.
Right. That means it's truth.
Right on. But the Bellingham-based Your Green Package will make deliveries for NETA, a Massachusetts cannabis company that runs a dispensary in Brookline and Northampton. This is the cannabis courier license. As you know, you have a dispensary, and then that is tied to this courier. The courier acts almost like an Uber Eats in this instance, as it's a separate entity that's not tied to it. So it's not like a Domino's pizza with the delivery drivers that are employed by Domino's. That's another way that some delivery operations happen in the cannabis industry.
I was going to say, well, they allow for both types of services, for the Uber Eats driver and also for the Amazon delivery side. So, both are going to be happening out there.
The Amazon one is the newest one. That's one really what we're going to be focusing on tomorrow at, I believe it's noon, but that's what we have the Bitly for. Nice. If you guys are watching this after it's been live, if you're watching it live, I can drop it in the live chat right now. I think unless nope, that would be that would not be that. I had a Bitly link for this, and there it is. And so copy that link. Otherwise, I just would have invited everybody watching to the studio, which is hilarious. Just come on down, and we'll just have like 10 people join the show at once. I'm like, hi, who are you? But
I want to do that, dude.
Yeah, I just dropped in the Bitly to go over to like how to start a cannabis delivery service webinar. Go ahead and register for that. David is going to be doing the presentation out of our Boston office. So yeah, it's a pretty cool operation. Now, that's what the operators are out there. The brick and mortar dispensaries really kind of have to get ready for the Amazoning of weed. There are these types of delivery operator licenses starting in Massachusetts where you can have a fulfillment center and then like a website and then your drivers, right? And so it's a dispensary that goes directly to your door and doesn't have any brick and mortar retail location.
And this is a proven model, right? In California, we had one of our first shows. We had a couple that was doing that, right?
Oh gosh, yeah, those guys from the Bay, those people were great, but they started at that, and then they hustled, and they got more licenses, and then they were vertically integrated eventually. There is a vertical integration type for social equity in Massachusetts that we're helping somebody work on. And it's a micro business. And so you can get a micro business with a delivery endorsement, and then you're effectively, what those guys were from the Bay. You can grow it, you can process it, and you can charge it at retail levels direct to the consumer.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, what else we got going on?
Well, let's go on to the next news story. Next news story is let's do some of our new members. We're going to do we already did a 420 bumper. Let's play Name That Strain. because we're about half past the hour. And then while we're doing Name That Strain, we're going to give shout outs to our new members. We really, thank you. Half your money goes directly to Freedom Grow Forever. 235 divided by 2, 117, something like that. 117.5. What's
By
up?
the way, Freedom Grow Forever, they also just acquired back their website, Freedom Grow. Because originally it was just Freedom Grow. And then with activism, all things, everybody has an ego or whatever. And now they just got the URL back. So Freedom Grow is now Freedom Grow as well.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we'll be making our donation of approximately 114, 115 bucks this month because of thanks to the members. Do we have a Name That Strain for this week? Let's hit that Name That Strain right now. And then I want to give a shout out to the members.
It's a smoky one.
It's a very blurry, smoky one coming from Seattle.
Oh, that's a very light green.
It's a little popcorny, I know. It's
not
got
many
a lot of
bracts
color on it. No, it might be that almost might be like machine trimmed because I just don't see the nooks and the crannies. And it doesn't have like a really amazing color that pops, but it looks like quality weed. I'll say that.
Smoke it.
Yeah, it goes way back. But let's talk about some other people that go way back. Shout outs to our new members. We have John Kavanaugh. He's a Miggy Next Story member. So like Miggy, we gotta get a bumper for you. So when you're doing the next stories, and so we'll get a bumper for Miggy, and then he'll be able to, and then just make them live for everybody, and then mark them down. That's how we do our webinars, and so they'll be live for everybody for 24 hours, and then we make it members only.
Well, what do you think about this too? I was thinking about doing like a sesh. Like I want to do a sesh and then like share the StreamYard live link, and then like I can bring people in one at a time, whether it be like 100 people or 2 people show up. You know, I can hang out and smoke with people.
But then we just got to be careful on those sessions because sometimes YouTube likes to restrict us, and so the next day, like, you might want to make those all 18 plus, and then just be try to use like the bumper that we use so that we aren't smoking on air. But do some more shout outs because Joey Z already nailed it with Durban Poison. But to Tom Swabs, Hanrock, Robert Eaton, Anu Day, Adam Grattan, and Jean Lavaria.
Thank you.
Larvia. I butchered everybody's names. I'm sorry.
But no, we appreciate you guys. Definitely 100%. This is a lot further than when we thought we started like in the Google Hangouts.
Right on. Right on. Hey, marijuana advocates introduce initiatives to legalize the substance in Wyoming. Wyoming, a number of cannabis advocates and members of the Libertarian Party made history on June 4th to submit 2 marijuana-related ballot initiatives, kicking off a campaign that will last until November 2022 and beyond, when the very, very conservative Wyoming Supreme Court throws out after the people have passed it overwhelmingly. This, of course, is reporting from the future based off of what happened in South Dakota in the past. So, go ahead, dude.
Well, Wyoming, you've been to Jackson Hole.
I have not. I have a friend named Henry who continues to threaten me to go to Jackson Hole with his family and hang out because evidently it's like a lot of fun. And I'm like, that fun would be great. But have you tried working like 18-hour days? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you are your own business, right? But like when I used to travel as a technician, I drove through Montana going to Wyoming, and they make jokes like the millionaires vacation in Montana and the billionaires vacation in Jackson Hole. And when I went to Jackson Hole, it's a beautiful, and I went through like the snow time where everything was just pure white and blinding white in like a storm. And I needed a pipe. My pipe broke, and I figured, oh shit, this is a ski town. There's got to be a pipe somewhere right here. Jackson Hole, again, the billionaire vacation spot, is the worst fucking place for marijuana. It's a prohibitionist fucking jerk off dream. It's not. It's a beautiful place, but when I see that, all I see is prison, and I don't want to go there. And I got the fuck out of that town as fast as I could.
I am going to tell him that you said that.
I'm just saying, it's a beautiful place.
I want a clip of Jackson Hole and Wyoming. There is just going to be one because Lauren does these clips. It's great for our SEO purposes, but we're talking about Wyoming cannabis legalization news, and there's going to be 2 ballot initiatives in Wyoming to legalize cannabis in 2022. Nice. Mickey thinks that Jackson Hole sucks.
I think they're going to hold them back, though. I think, listen, with money, and again, this is why I always bring up I see any legalization in every state that we do. It's also like an anti-racist thing, right? Like we have the right now, the present day voter Jim Crow bullshit going on with the Republican Party trying to do whatever, pretend fraud, and
Right.
and that, you have this people with money in charge of like Wyoming, and I think they're still those are the ones that are the people funding fucking the January 6th shit, right? People who have $100,000 or $1 million to pay for a caravan. At the same time, they run fucking Wyoming, and I really hope you guys at Wyoming can just end this ignorance, because that's what it is. Ending prohibition is it.
And the messed up thing is I've seen commercial paper come out of Wyoming, funding cannabis companies. And so like their private equity is already in it, and they're in the industry. And so like I've seen capital companies from Wyoming fund cannabis companies, which is hilarious. But do you know why Wyoming is super famous in American business?
No.
They invented the LLC.
Oh, shit.
Yep, 1977, I think. The LLC was invented in Wyoming. This is what you get when you come to cannabis. Oh, wait, shit that I didn't know news. We're going to get that bumper.
Well, yeah, it didn't. But that's the thing. Like the mid of America created a bunch of weird shit. Like, right, what is it, South Dakota with the credit cards? Or is it North Dakota?
South Dakota, I think, is the credit cards. And you'll see a lot of your credit card processors are out of Sioux City, Sioux Falls, something. I don't know.
But it's workarounds for being shady motherfuckers is what it is.
Yeah, well, they got it. You're in the middle of nowhere. You got to make business somehow. And
that's their main revenue. Again, this is like where the governor says, no, we're not going to listen to the will of the people and, turn over, sue. I mean, this is the great hypocrisy, the idiocracy. And that's how we got where we were at last.
Sioux Falls, the town that credit built. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Wells Fargo.
And if you don't know the story, look up, because credit and financial shit, it's a very interesting, it's the unfortunate shit. Shit like that is what makes conspiracy theories, man.
They're going to drive a dump truck of money up to your door, Miggy. And if you make a couple of investments at the right levels of government, it'll save you billions.
And I get it. Money is this fucking thing that makes everybody change their opinion.
Hey! Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I always like telling and counseling the clients that let's get this papered before the money shows up. Let's talk about the deal. And then once you think you have the deal, then we're going to paper that. Yeah. And then the money shows up, and then you file the stuff where you need to file the stuff.
Well, you have strategy. That's where you come in. That's where you're valuable,
I just don't trust you don't trust motherfuckers. That's what it is. And so like you're like, no. Money will make people do stupid things. And so let's already have it all drawn up here. And then it's fun. The industry's fun, isn't it?
Well, I think for you, it's not just cannabis, but I think you could also you deal with all of the policy and because you used to litigate for banking those shit, so you kind of know how to help someone protect their money, and then because I mean.
Name of the company is collateral base. If you understand the concept, you'll usually do fine. The secured creditors usually get paid first.
Sure, sure. But this is the part of the evolution of legalization, right? Like as young hippies and whatever weird cartoon you watch where people are like, it should be legal. We all should be like one plant, one love, man. But it's like somebody's got to pay the water bill. Someone's got to pay for the soil. Someone's got to make that soil.
We upset Heather.
Oh, sorry.
You have to use so many gosh darn curse words, dude.
I don't. I'm sorry. I actually used fudged earlier.
Well, fudge is not going to make sure that anybody's upset, because shoot and fudge. If I would have gone to film school in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I'm sure my shoots and fudges would have been way more on point.
My problem is when I talk about prohibition, when I talk about things that are they're not right. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be easier to be one tone and have it, but it's so frustrating because it's been so long. Like when people like Lance sit behind bars, when other things, there's time is the thing that they're losing out on, and it seems like that's not a priority for most people. Like if it was, then they wouldn't be sitting back there. But what it is what the newest Coke or the newest iPhone, or this is just other shit to worry about, and that's why I curse so much.
Another reason why I curse a lot, it has to do with, and a perfect example of this as an illustration is the Detroit legacy licensing program. They were supposed to issue 75 licenses, but you know where that is? The Detroit marijuana licensing program is likely unconstitutional, according to a federal judge who has shut it down.
So who's suing it? Or who's stopping that? Like, how did, because doesn't someone have to raise a flag and say, or is it?
Oh, yeah, somebody filed the lawsuit. It was a wonderful plaintiff. And so Detroit's marijuana licensing program that gives preferential treatment to longtime residents that had lived in the city for 15 years, suffered a potentially lethal blow on Thursday when a federal judge wrote that it is likely unconstitutional and issued an injunction halting the program indefinitely.
Wow. I hope Detroit looks into who sued, and then that person gets 8-balled or whatever, you know, because
that person was an interested party. Like, she was a perfect plaintiff. She was a perfect plaintiff. I think it was a black lady that has a dispensary, a medical dispensary close, and so she would have been screwed, toast, if the 75 dispensaries would have been issued and then eaten her lunch. And so now, considering operation continues to go as it had in the past, she continues to make money because she's got a license. And then now they aren't going to issue any new ones. But it goes to show that these programs that provide all these preference to particular types of people are going to be found to be unconstitutional.
Yeah, but it also goes to show that people are afraid of competition. Like, if that lady would just, again, there's enough of this out there.
But she was locked out of the competition. That's the thing. Like, what if she would have been able to have a chance, a shot at getting the license just like anybody else?
Yeah, but her coffer's already being filled. So, like, why does it have to worry about it? Because, again, there's so many. We had 1,000 dispensaries out here one time. 1,000 dispensaries. And I think now we're only got like 300. You know, they're not dispensaries, they're pot shops now. But 1,000 dispensaries.
Wait a minute.
People are
the technical. Just to clarify something, I'm confused, and I'm going to be out there in Seattle. We're going to be hanging out doing some live shows in Seattle, July 16th through the 19th, I think.
Do you want? We can do it live from a concentrate place too. I got a friend.
Book the concentrate place. I just got my hotels. The weed bread and breakfast was already booked, so I'm at a Hyatt in Hilton. Near the Amazon campus, next to that yoga studio I like. And then, you know, let's try to get in at each one. So we got to get in at a dispo, we got to get in at a processor, and we got to get in at a cultivator so that we can get some pretty baller, like awesome content, like, you know, stuff that they wish that they would have known when they got it.
Yeah, and like in Washington, like I said, the dispensaries, the medical thing was their dispensaries, but we no longer have medical programs, so they're all just pot shops now. There's no. When there were dispensaries, I had a chance to open a store. I could have just saved $5K, got a building to rent, paid the whatever $1K for the business license, and that would have been it. I would have been a legal pot shop right then, or dispensary. Excuse me. And with my patients, like most of these all these medical programs are hiding under what is it? The default, the defense for in crime. Like if you're abiding by your state rules, but it's still a federal crime. What's the defense?
It's Rohrabacher Farr. And so now it's like Rohrabacher Blumenauer. And so they've just defunded it. Section 542 of the budget, 2 budgets ago. It's a different section of the budget now, but that's your basis to have a motion to dismiss if anybody from the feds try to shut down your state licensed.
There's the Latin word for it though. The Latin word for like when you commit a crime, but it's not a crime. Not the mens rea stuff, but like
I don't know much Latin, and I don't know much criminal law. But I do know that the district court, U.S. District Judge Bernard Friedman issued an order that blocked the issuance of these new legacy licenses. And he wrote, the city ordinance governing the process for obtaining a recreational marijuana license gives an unfair, irrational, and likely unconstitutional advantage to long-term Detroit residents over all other applicants. I'm looking at you. Other social equity methodologies where no other applicants can access the cannabis licenses. That lawsuit might be coming to your jurisdiction when they try to hand out licenses this summer. We're talking about Illinois.
That would have definitely helped Detroit out. If it's a shame that you can't just make it location only as far as requirements for entry into that.
Dormant Commerce Clause.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all semantics, right? Couldn't somebody else do? I mean, somebody smarter who studies law and knows more case-based stuff, couldn't they
That's right. They'll sue, but then like that gets back to the whole method. And sometimes one of the business methods is lobbying and buying the lobbying dollars. Sometimes the method is litigation and buying the lawyer dollars. Sometimes
this is why I curse so much. This is why I curse so much. Because it don't make sense.
None of it makes sense. And then the more that you figure, like everybody believes it, and it's just this collective deception. And I'm complicit. You know, I commute. I go and I get kids. They're great. You know,
you're a cog in the wheel. I get it, but like this is why I curse so much. Is because like it's in a sense that it doesn't make sense because I think there should be like morality and equality. It does make sense in the sense that if you have a butt ton of money, you can influence and make anything you want. Like this is how the Roebuckers and all these other people who get their names and everybody knows about because they're invested into like 100 different causes. Half of them they don't care about. They just want to see how it pans out. It's crazy.
Yep. Of course, the Detroit councilman James Tate, who spearheaded the creation of the Detroit ordinance, said he's disappointed by the ruling and ensures no adult use licenses will be issued by the city unless Detroit residents are provided the ability to truly compete for the same wealth-building opportunities that other communities have benefited from in the cannabis industry. He said, social equity policies like the Detroit legacy program of our licensing ordinance always come under attack when there are genuine efforts to remove excessive barriers and create a more just process for those who have been harmed by the system. So that kind of like implies like if you lived in Detroit for 15 years, the past 15 years, you have been harmed by the system.
Probably 100% truth. Just think that it'd be such a cash influx to the city itself. Like I wish like the city of Seattle created like the city of Seattle only license, right? Like we talk about our neighborhoods and how they all have ghettos and poor areas. Well, this is how you help them out. You start a program to enable. Couldn't now like why don't we just sue Oklahoma? Why can't I do business in Oklahoma? Hell, why can't I just sue Idaho because they haven't legalized it yet, or North Dakota or South Dakota? You know, like I want to do commerce out there. Like why? This is bullshit. That's sad.
You know, that one we haven't gotten to that one yet, where one activity in one state and then another state is legal. That's an interesting lawsuit coming for 2031.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
I'm just saying, man, it's so infuriating that.
Well, these are difficult things because you're trying to create lawsuits that treat individuals differently, and so like you know that's the problem. Yeah.
You're also fighting a rule that has no basis of logic or reason, right? Prohibition in itself, like. All right, great. Now we all accept this hurdle for some odd reason, but this shouldn't be accepted. Like it should just be fixed. So, but to fix it, someone has to benefit from it. Like someone has to get a paycheck. Someone has to, you know, the dumb shit I do of standing in marches and all the other shit. You know that activist shit. It's only because it's so messed up, and people need to like be outraged, and then, you know and then that costs money. You know, we fundraise and shit like that. Like. Yep. I just wish with cannabis activism, I just wish more corporate companies, people who were the billionaires, were involved. Like, look for those poor guys. Look for Freedom Grow. You know, it's even like in the cannabis activism itself, like all the hate towards the Last Prisoner Project, because it's more of a celebrity type, whatever, versus the Weldon Project, and he's getting his gatherings as well. Weldon is, dude. He's got Russ, the rapper, now, and he's got I think Snoop Dogg doing some stuff with him, like in full. And St. Ides, have you seen that? St. Ides is doing work with the Weldon Project.
No, but that's awesome. I'm glad that they're getting involved with him, man.
Yeah. I just wish there was more companies like that, like more stand up, cross that barrier, and it would help it, you know, because you know every day that someone else is sitting behind bars, it's just another day that America's not. That's how you make it great. That's how you get it better. That's how you do it right.
Yeah, but now we have this money grab for all these licenses that are coming up, and that's really where all the attention's going. And they're trying to define this stuff with social equity that treats humans differently. And so, like we've got a long history of doing that, and then a history of saying, well, when it comes to the federal government, you're not supposed to do that. But then veterans, like you can get a mortgage if you're a veteran with 0% down.
Yeah,
you know, you get benefits depending on what you've done, and so we do treat people differently. But how are you going to do that and orchestrate it in a method that's not going to end in all these types of lawsuits? Because remember, at the end of the day, it's federally legal. You got to compete with Oregon. You know? Suddenly, the licenses aren't going to be worth this pile of money that you think they are, because you have the ability to exclude any other state from your marketplace.
And that's the thing too. You have to look at the cannabis industry. Though, what is valuable? Like right now, the MSO is valuable in, say, Illinois, because there's only 4 of you, right? 4 grows or whatever.
There's like I bet that the top 5 companies probably have 80% of the market share.
But as soon as they got to compete against filet mignon, dude, they're depending on their quality. Though I don't know, I can't speak because I haven't experienced it. But I'd imagine there is going to be that point where people are going to wonder, like, how did you ever succeed? Like MedMen. I just still don't know how they're lingering around. Like, how just people throwing money into these freaking boats, these holes in the ass, these whatever money pits.
Man, money pits. Well, we do have a very bad story, and then this is going to get back into the criminalization behavior and aspects. So like if you go to state A, it's fine. And you go to state B, it's not. So Alabama removes toddler from Michigan family found with marijuana.
Damn.
Erica Prock left Michigan on Wednesday night with her son. She drove all night while the 18-month-old slept. And then they got to their in-laws' home along the Mississippi border in North Atlanta. After a 2-hour visit, they started to go back and they stopped in Nashville. That they only made it as far as Moulton. Someone reported a disturbance as they stopped at Jack's for lunch. When the police responded, Prock's husband was smoking a cigarette. An officer claimed to have smelled marijuana on his breath, and then he had marijuana in the trunk of his car, is what he told the officer. That was a mistake. He shouldn't have mentioned that. And then they arrested both adults and placed the child in foster care, trapping their family inside a nightmare for possessing a substance that's completely legal in their own home state.
Exactly. That's what I was just thinking when you said she was in Michigan. Like it was legal when she left, and then, and again, he was just trying. The cannabis consumer just wants to be a law-abiding citizen. This is it. He let some notes in the trunk. I've done that with cops in Southern California as a kid, and they've let me go. And then I also had some that pulled a squad car on me, and a bunch of other squad cars. So it's a roulette, and it shouldn't be. That's why we have to end prohibition. Oh, that's fucking horrible.
Yep. And that is it just goes on. It's a very sad story, and it's happening, and it shouldn't be happening. So when you have these differences of laws and you think that it's going to be the same as it is where you're at, it's not. You're going to go to a different state, different jurisdiction, and somebody might have an axe to grind against you, and they might try to get you because they can. And then it's just not fair that we have this half in, half out system that Clarence Thomas described it as, where in some states it's fine, and in other states it's prohibited.
Imagine being that cop, dude, that you thinking you did a good job, dude. You're like, I smell crime.
I smell crime and children in danger.
And broke a family up.
In Alabama, and it prevented them from getting back to Michigan. So, like, do we have any standing? Like, could you have that dismissed to Michigan? I'm sorry, we would like to have the trunk of our car declared Michigan. And
here's the thing too.
I don't think so.
But like in most people, 9-to-5 jobs, you're detained. He lost time. His work probably, depending on the position he has, he may or may not have a job. So you just ruined 2 American tax-paying, loving people, apparently, that are just citizens that going to see their in-laws. Like,
right?
Wow.
Right.
Way to go, Alabama.
Way to be stupid, Alabama.
Seriously, though, man.
But we do have some international news, which this is international news that reminds me of Chuck Schumer. So let's break that, and then we'll wrap.
Wow.
The Mexico Supreme Court has removed the ban on recreational marijuana.
Woo!
We've been reporting on this since at least the time when the show began in 2019. Mexico's Supreme Court has removed the country's prohibition against the private use of recreational marijuana by calling the current laws unconstitutional.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, I was just saying, I was just in Mexico, shittiest working weed ever. Like you would think one of the people with the longest legacy with weed would have like the best weed everywhere, but no. So the American export is going to be the money, the growers going down to Mexico, right? Once they legalize this shit, people are going to want good weed.
I hope so. We'll see on that. It might be a cultural issue when it comes to Mexico and cannabis. The Mexico Supreme Court has removed the country's prohibition. I've already mentioned that. And the court ruled on Monday that adults will be able to apply for permits to cultivate their own cannabis for personal consumption with some restrictions on smoking in public or in front of children. Because remember, think of the children. But it was an 8-3 decision where the court struck down sections of the country's laws that prohibited growing pot plants and its consumption. A decision called historic for liberties by Supreme Court President. That's interesting that they have a Supreme Court President in Mexico, Arturo Zalavdar.
Wow. That's pretty awesome, dude. Like they got plenty of seeds out there, I tell you that much.
Yeah, I saw that bag that you were smoking in Cabo. It was all seeds. I think you ordered the seed bag.
But you when you say like the Mexico culture thing, dude, we grew with it. Like my grandmother, my great grandmother, would get it from my mom. My mom would get it for my great grandmother, so she could soak in rubbing alcohol for her ailments. And then like the times during the Revolution, like Pancho Villa, they would smoke it in rebellion. So they, and it was also called Indian hemp from the Native Americans. So Mexico has a great long history. Again, prohibition has been the greatest export by America.
Right.
And the cartels were like, sweet, we love this shit.
Before Monday's ruling, adults have been petitioning the court to grow and consume weed since 2015. In 2017, the court ordered Congress to draft laws to create the legal cannabis market, and Mexico's legislation has just never really materialized, it seems. In March, Mexico's lower house passed a bill legalizing cannabis for recreational use, but it's stalled in the Senate for final approval. And then there is a bill that says that it would be lawful to have an ounce of weed and grow 8 plants. It's just ridiculous that they allow for only 1 ounce of a plant that might give you 8 ounces. It's hilarious. Supporters of the law that say that the regulation will remove the marijuana market from the grips of Mexico's powerful drug cartels. I don't know about that.
Well,
they own everything. They own like the avocado fields, for crying out loud.
But again, when we talk about cartels, we're talking about like the top part are the smart people who are going to reinvest that money, probably become part of the legal part scene because they have the money to do all that. The legislation, like you said, the 1 ounce for a plant that can produce 8 ounces, that just shows you people who are ignorant are making the law. But it'll shape up, dude. They're already 10 steps ahead of America now. But again, I think our export now is going to be our growers to going down there because spring break's about to be lit.
I'm not sure if that's what they were looking for doing in spring break.
I'm just saying, I'm from Southern California, so we'd go down there, for all the holidays. Rosarito, it's a party place, all these different spots. So is Cabo.
I gotta go. I gotta get out down there and have some fun. Go to Mexico.
Yeah.
Never been.
You should. You would enjoy it, dude.
Well, that's going to do it for Cannabis Legalization News. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe to keep up with all cannabis legalization news. We'll see you on Sunday for a federal news report. See you then.